G'day. Okay. So we're starting to make some progress. Hang on. Blue car's inside. Oliver's Sora's inside. I've actually fixed a few things on this too. So he now has a window. We put a window regulator in there. Fixed the door handle on this side. I've still got to replace a clip on that side. Found out what was wrong with this. So it has problems with the gearbox, the automatic gearbox shifting, but it turns out it's leaky capacitors in the ECU, which is about a $400 Australian fix. So Oliver's is saving up to get that done. Means I don't have to pull out the gearbox or source a second-hand gearbox, which is wonderful. Now, this thing. So we'll move over to the show and tell table, and they're wrapped up in a bag. So I managed to get some top feed injectors, 1000cc. Previously what we had in the engine was 850cc side feeds. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go E85 on this car. And I've started collecting a few bits and pieces. The way this guy had them set up. So if you don't know, 92 to 98 fuel rails will all work on each other, but then 99 onwards they will work with each other, but you can't put 99 fuel the way the manifold bolts on, etc. So I've actually made a video about that if you're wondering the differences between 92 to 96 and then 97 to 98 and then 99 to 2000, because at one point I had one of each of the engines and I had all three of the manifolds up on the bench. So these fuel rails are to suit 97, 98. And then these are Bosch 1000cc and injectors. And the reason I haven't fitted them yet is because the guy only gave me one of these adapters, so the rest of them are missing the adapters off the end. I'll just pull it off a sec. So I need 3 more of those, but there's the 1000cc injector all ready to go. I don't even know what brand these are. I'll have to look that up, but yeah, it comes with a little piggy tail that plugs straight into the loom for that engine. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here it is. So version 3 STi heads, 207 short block, lovely Sims equal length headers, and then we got a Bosch Dominator XTR 1.5. Now, one mod I'm considering is ditching this coil pack and going with individual coils. I do already have the individual coils. In fact, I've got... Here, I'll show you. Shouldn't take too long. No, I can't. I'll show you the R35 coils. So these are GTR R35 coils, and there are some kits you can get. So what you need to do is to fit in a WRX. Oh, here we go. All right. So these are later model coil on plug Subaru coils. This is what I probably will use 4 of these instead of using this coil pack. And also convert to sequential ignition. I think when you run this and the factory ECU, it's wasted spark, so it fires 2 cylinders at once. Whereas if you have 4 of these on each cylinder, they go in down here like that. Boom, Bob's your uncle. And in fact, my white car has this conversion on it. The only problem with these is the clips, like, so this one here is broken. So I've had a few of these sort of break and give me trouble. So what I am considering doing is using these, which are R35 coils. These ones didn't come from an R35 GTR, but they're all the same. What differs is sort of this height here and the length of the stalk. But to use them aftermarket, you get a different length stalk, and then there's an adapter that you get, and it'll fit this bolt pattern. So you bolt on the adapter, and then you bolt this coil in place. These are what I'm running on the Cresta, my JZX, and the good thing about running them on the JZX was I kept the standard stalk, and the plate that I used, I just spaced the plate up to meet the length of this stalk, and it works out quite well. So 1000cc injectors, top feed fuel rails. Save a bit of money because I can just use this standardish style fuel hose. With the other rails that I had, I was going to have to make up AN fuel lines, which if you've ever bought, so AN stuff's this stuff here. If ever you've bought AN lines, it can cost so much money. So wasn't looking forward to that. And I've started to collect some of the electronic bits and pieces. So this is the boost solenoid. It's called a Mac valve. And what will happen is the ECU will control this. Be careful buying these because you can, like on eBay, there are non-genuine ones and they're just Chinese junk. So you want a proper Mac valve. I don't know whether you can see the serial number there. Try and focus with my nose. There we go. So there's the serial number there. This one was 108 Australian dollars from EFI Solutions. Came with these little barbs, and in fact I've got the boost hose here. I think it's 6mm to fit these barbs, and then also it fits the barb here and the barb here on the turbo. So that's that, and then this I've got here is an electronic fuel pressure sensor, and this will go, so this fitting, this AN fitting is AN6 male, AN6 female, with a 1/8 NPT thread, and that's what this sensor is, 1/8 NPT. So that will go in line to the fuel pressure regulator, and then so I might have to change one of these fittings because I might have to do an AN line out of this and through this and then into the fuel pressure regulator, which is still sitting in the car, but I'll get that out and I'll sort that out. I've got a proper Tomei fuel pressure regulator. Also, so I've got a gauge on there, but I wanted to use the this fuel pressure sensor because it gives you another added safety as well. The Cresta only has this, it doesn't have the gauge. So for setting fuel pressure, you just got to log in to the computer. But I figured I've already got the gauge for that. I'll get the electronic sensor. This is not something that you need. I don't know, I just like it to, I like logging the data and checking it and that kind of thing, because you can glean information from your logs. All right, so, and then probably one of the last things is, so these are the expansion headers for the ECU, and I'll see if I can get, so this, what you can buy is you can buy one of these headers and it's got little leads coming off it. It's about $90 Australian from Link. But these are the headers, so I've got about 5, and then these are the pins. So there's the part number, I think it's XAP-08V-1, or there, and then there's the other information for the pins, so SXA-01T-P0.6 maybe. Anyway, they came from DigiKey. They're always out of stock. But with the number of headers in here, you could make 5 auxiliary things. So essentially I can fuck it up 5 times and we're all sorted. But the reason I did that was I was going to give the wiring a go myself. I'll show you. Whoa. If you do want to give it a go yourself. So these are the crimps that work with these, and they're called an Engineer, I think they're PA09. Yeah, they're, can you see it? PA09. There we go. So Engineer PA09, 1.0 to 1.9. That is for those. I was talking to some people about, so this, oh God, I forget what type of connector that is, but I need to get crimps to do that. That's the only crimping tool I've got so far, so I need to buy some crimpers. I did talk to Sam, who did the wiring on the Cresta. So to wire in a fuel pump relay, it's $350. You can buy a relay kit for between 90 to 120. You can actually build it cheaper yourself, but if you want to buy a kit, let's say it's 90 to 120 Australian dollars, the rest of that's in labor. And then to wire up all the sensors, so I've got boost pressure, fuel pressure, oil pressure temperature combo sensor, and then ethanol sensor, so that's about 4, is $650. And then if I was to get him to convert it to coil on plug, that would be another $650. So that's like $1,500, which is, it's a lot of money. The entire loom on the Cresta costs $1,500. So gonna give it a go myself. I don't think I'll be doing the coil on plug conversion myself because it's a bit tricky, but well, not at this stage anyway. Oh, and then there's one last thing, so, and that's why I've got these bits. This is a 460 litre per hour fuel pump. This is actually going to go on the Cresta. The Cresta has a 340 litre per hour pump, which is good for, I think, 500 horsepower, maybe. I don't know, maybe 450. This is good for 700 horsepower, I think. Yeah, so that's 500. This one's good for 700, or maybe 650. But this is a, so it's called a walbro 460 or a walbro 450 high pressure. So this will go in the Cresta. The Cresta's pump will go in the WRX, because if that thing makes over 450 horsepower, it'll blow that gearbox to smithereens, and I don't know how long that would last, that engine at 450 horsepower. We'll see though. I mean, we'll see. We've got the bits. We'll see. So sometimes when people ask, you know, oh look, I want to build a car, blah, blah, blah. The first thing I tell them is the budget. The next thing I tell them is just start collecting the bits and pieces, because you don't like... So I'll tell you, I just got paid out for a car accident, which is essentially why I owned the blue car. I bought that with the money from my other car getting written off. And I've been waiting about 2 years, got a decent amount of money, but I don't want to spend any of it. Because you don't get that kind of money that easily. I mean, sure, you could sell your car and you might get, 20, 30 grand or whatever, but, you don't just get a whole bunch of money easily. So yeah, it's just wise to save, but anyway, so that's what I'm doing. I'm collecting bits and pieces. So what we've got a bigger fuel pump. We've got a top feed fuel rail. I've managed to get some 1000cc injectors. I need to get some adapters for these ones. If you can see, I'll try and get this open with my one hand and my broken finger. Alright, so this one's slightly different. This is like I think it's called a 3/4 length with a long tail or something. So if we put it side by side with our WRX injector, it's the right length, but the end is different. So I actually need to get some adapters, because where is it? Oh, it's down the end there. So does that? Yeah. So this end is actually 14 mil. The hole in here is only 11 mil, and then I've got no kind of adapter on this end. So I need to get this injector adapted to be same as one of those. So that's that. I want to do cams, mainly because I've got these cam gears, but also, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to do it eventually. I may as well do it, now with a whole bunch of stuff. So we've got some GREDDY cam gears. I am trying to decide what cams to get. I'm just trying to get some used ones for fairly cheap. And I don't really want massive duration. I've actually got some 272 278s that my mate gave me that we'll probably use in the NA engine if I don't sell the NA engine. Anyway, so probably going to get 264 272 Kelfords or GSC stage 1, which are like 260 262. So that's that. Probably going to do an oil cooler. So this is a Grex oil cooler that my mate Wom gave me. Shout out to you, Wom. Thanks for that. And we've got filters to suit that. And then the one thing I'm still undecided on is doing drive-by-wire throttle. So I've got a throttle body. This is from a Mitsubishi 380. So like essentially a Mitsubishi Magna. And it's a Bosch throttle body. I think it's 74 millimeters, so it's quite large. And what we need to do is we need to get an adapter that goes to the manifold to allow this to work. But then we need a pedal, and then we need a whole bunch of wiring done as well. So this will add a significant cost. So that is something that I can do at a later date. But yeah, so right now, these are our little bits that we've been collecting. I guess I'll give you, so by taking my time and just collecting bits as they come up, I think the fuel rail was $200, but they don't make this anymore, so it's a SARD for VVTi, so $200. The bottom of the manifold I think cost me $50, or yeah, let's say 50. These were $100, which is good. You can still actually get these, although these are like old school ones. This was free. It was a present from my mate. That was $50, throttle body. And then the fuel pump was $100 second hand. So, I mean, new, let's say, so there were 100, they're probably 200. This is probably $300 or $400, I think, to get a proper SARD fuel rail. The injectors. So I paid $200 for those. Let me just do some quick maths. So they're about $500 new, and then the fuel pump is at least $200 or $180. So essentially I paid half of what you would normally for that stuff. So there you go. Just thought I'd give a little bit of an update. Yeah, I'll let you know when there's some more interesting stuff happen. I've ordered some bits and pieces for the front of the Cresta, just like new steering arms. I was going to get like drift knuckles, which give you more lock. That's what I had in my Corolla, and it was always good for parking because you had a smaller turning circle. But I think my wheels are going to foul on the caster arms, and then I've got to change this upright as well, because this is the old one I took out of the left-hand side, and this one is actually a little bit taller, and I believe it makes the wheel sit in further, because the wheel on the left-hand side of the car sits in further. So yeah, that's that. Well, we'll see you soon, I guess. Thanks for watching.